They don't ask no questions because I don't remember what happened.
The wedding in a little town, it was after the war. There was a lot of young people. They were dancing. They were very happy. The very little, you know, when they didn't make a force dinners or what. It was just like a sweet table.
I see. Did it have music?
Yes, there was music, there was dancing. It was very nice.
Mr. and Mrs. Abraham Godinsky. A week before this, total strangers. Now, bonded for life.
She wasn't smiling too much because it was soon, you see. She met him and they made a ceremony right away and he had to leave. And she had to leave town. I don't have to tell you those years. Now, if you want to go, you go back. Years ago, they used to say, you go to the United States, you'll never come back.
The next day we went to Warsaw. We stayed there a couple of days. We stayed in a hotel.
That's when it got exciting, huh?
I was afraid that they shouldn't go with a baby. That was my trouble there. I didn't know how the baby comes.
So how was your wedding night?
Huh? What?
How was your wedding night? Was it good?
Like everybody, you know.
You nervous?
Because nowadays they know what's coming, but I didn't know what's coming.
Did couples go on honeymoons in those days?
No, no, no. What kind of honeymoons? No, darling.
And who had time for a honeymoon? Abe's visa had just about run out, and a few days after their marriage, he had to set sail for America. So try to put yourself in her place as she bid him bon voyage.
He wasn't a guy to follow, you know. He loved, but he very gentle, you know. He's not you know. So
So he said,
you know,
Ida, it's nice knowing you. I'll see you back in America. I'm going to get the papers and I'll send them out.
no. Okay, a little, and then we cried a little, make believe, and that's all.
For the next 6 months, Grandma faithfully corresponded with her new husband, waiting for her U.S. visa to arrive. And as she readied for her new life, tragedy. Her father, only in his late 40s, died from kidney failure in early 1928. That June, shaken and grieved, her papers came. There was no turning back now.
When I left for Warsaw, I forgot all about it. The whole town took me, they walked me from my house till they walked outside the little town. But you couldn't walk any further. You have to sit down there and go. So until you say goodbye to everybody.
And the last 2 words she said as a Polish girl?
Let's go.
Mother came to the United States in 1927, and we're viewing here what it must have been like for her first view of the country. Like most immigrants in that time, they came past the Statue of Liberty and and they docked at Ellis Island for processing.
Hey, Grandma, it's your 2 boys in New York Harbor, and they're not even born yet.
Mom, we're freezing our asses off here, and I hope you enjoy this bloody film.
With the warmest of thoughts and the greatest of intentions, your faithful sons took a trip back to see New York as you first saw it, as you sailed in on a boat called the Leviathan.
From the moment I went on the boat, I don't know nothing.
16 days at sea and 16 days seasick. So the whole time in the boat, you were in the clinic? You were in
I was laying in my room.
in your room, and they came and took care of you.
They used to come, the doctor used to come in the morning, at night, anytime.
And you didn't get out of the room the whole time?
No, I didn't. I didn't know how the boat looked.
I think the only time you really have a feeling of the feelings that Mom had is when you go by the statue, as we are right now. It's perhaps the only time that I really felt what she had in her heart at the time she arrived to this country.
Well, Marty, sorry to burst your romantic bubble. When you were on the boat, did you, like when the boat came and you could see the shore, did you see the Statue of Liberty?
No, I couldn't see the Statue of Liberty that time.
Why couldn't you see it? Because
I couldn't
you were sick.
I couldn't see anything, you know.
You can almost see her out on the boat, out on the rail as we're standing now. Saying, "Get me off this ship."
That's more like it. Harsh reality. This was one sick puppy. She likes to tell us about how the doctors on the boat would kid around with her and tell her she'd better survive the voyage, because if not,
We throw you in the water there.
but Grandma, you made it. And as we saw where the Leviathan passed through the Narrows and into New York Harbor, we thought about how lucky we are that you made that choice.
If she had made the choice not to do that, we would have all been dead.
Certainly we wouldn't be here taking pictures.
Our progeny wouldn't have happened, and our grandchildren, and of course our great-grandchildren. This whole chapter that we're writing in this country would have never been written.
Indeed. While Brother Fischel would head to Canada, Moshe, Leah, and Mom would go on to Israel. That left Abrasha, Nachum, and Adolf Hitler. In late 1939, Hitler invaded Poland. Nachum and his in-laws were gunned down in a random raid on his village. Abrasha, in many ways Grandma's idol, the one who all but arranged her marriage and her own flight from Europe, wanted to follow, but
He couldn't go to the United States. Couldn't get a visa because she had nobody to take him. You know what he did? He went to Warsaw and he said he's going to be a cantor in the United States. So they called him, they tried him out. If you're a cantor, you're supposed to be religious. Saturday, they gave him the visa, he signed. He said, are you signing on Saturday? You consider yourself as a cantor, you're not a cantor. When I got a paper from my husband to immigrate to the United States, he saw me and I said goodbye to him. He said, Ethel, what are you going there? What for? I said, look what a boo-boo you made. Why did you do that? He said, who cares for the United States? I have a nice living here.
he was dining with his in-laws one evening when the house was firebombed. They all perished. Thank you, Abrasha, for making sure your sister got on that boat. Your love for her gave this family life. The Great Hall at Ellis Island, where America said welcome. A sea away from the horror that was to come. Amid the mayhem inside, you sat off your motion sickness and then waited online to get your papers stamped. So now, oh yeah, remember that guy you married 6 months back? They stamped you,
They stamped
and then you saw Abe
Yeah,
after that.
yeah. Yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah.
How was the
What's
trip?
going on? Huh?
He said, how was the trip? You said, I was sick the whole time.
I don't think if I, you know, he looked at me because I looked bad, you know, I lost a lot of weight.
Ida came home to her husband's one-room efficiency near the boardwalk at Coney Island. She says she was too busy setting up house to be homesick. Soon they moved to a bigger place on Avenue U in Brooklyn. Abe worked steady as a tailor, and babies were the next order of business.
I wanted boys.
What did he want?
You know why? Because I wanted boys. I said, whatever the boys do, I don't care what happens, but a girl shouldn't come home with a baby.
And a big boy it was on July 1st, 1930, at the Jewish Hospital in Brooklyn. What was it like giving birth? Was it
I
painful?
was very happy because he was a gorgeous baby. The nurses used to come in and say, it's not a baby, it's a man there. he was close to 9 pounds, you know. Here I have his pictures, big.
Close to 9 pounds. How did you push him out?
You push him out, I had 10 stitches. And I didn't know because I was delirious.
A year later, it was time to move on up to a neighborhood that was the envy of many. A neighborhood that soon would see yet another Gudinski. Martin was born October 26, 1936.
Martin already grew up 1, 2, 3 for himself. You know, if you have one, and then 6 years later it comes another one. But two big friends, they weren't from the beginning, you know. When I came home from the hospital, looked at me and said, why didn't you leave him there?
The magic neighborhood where all this happened? Nelson Avenue in the Bronx.
It was beautiful. It was clean. It's what they said, you live on Nelson Avenue. Yeah.
1360 to be exact, apartment 1E, a folkloric address to this family. So much happened here.
So we had, a one-bedroom apartment, you call it here. And in this bedroom apartment, I had my 2 sons, and they were they went to kindergarten, and they graduated there, and they got married from this house.
Grandma, they say you can never go home, but for this and for you, we thought it would be important. If there's one thing I know about you, it's that you can't be shielded from the truth. So here it is, straight. Today, 1360 Nelson Avenue is a drugstore. They don't sell X-Lax here, or milk of magnesia. They sell crack cocaine. Deals were going down as we were videotaping. In fact, we had to hire a security guard to accompany us.
He's our man today. He saved our neck already.
It's tragic, it's depressing, but it's the truth. Look at these pictures, and then listen to how you remembered the old neighborhood.
Oh, it was beautiful. It's clean. We had 2 supers.
Was there any crime there?
Not in my time.
These were all apartment buildings here when I was a kid.
Your 2 boys remember it that way too. And they tried, hard as it must have been, to look past what is to what was.
Well, Marty, here we are back at the old neighborhood.
You know, it hasn't really changed too much.
Really hasn't
It's
changed
just the
at
way I
all.
remember it. You know,
We used to sit out here on the front stoop with Mom, and I used to mind you as a kid. You were just running up and down here. She would sit up. She would take out a chair, sit here with Mrs. Bender and her friends Blanche and Clara.
Oh, the summertime.
And we used to just play right here in front of the place on the street. My goodness, it's really changed, hasn't it?
Grandma, you took the spirit of the Bronx with you when you left.
My granddaughter. How are you, sweetheart?
Hello.
My daughter-in-law, great. My grandson.
Hello. How you
My
feeling?
old son.
She'd come out, especially in the evening. She was out here with her friends. They'd all come out in the warmer weather, probably starting from the end of May until August and September when school was back in. And they would come out at night, and we would all be playing out here.
She'd have a wooden folding chair.
It was a community. It was a whole community thing. Each building would have their people standing outside, or with chairs, and their children would be out here all, you know, and we'd stay out till all hours of the night.
Hi, Tracy. Hi, darling. I'm Saki, sweetheart. How are you, honey? Oh, okay.
What do you need, a pot of water?
Yeah, I just need to boil some water so I can warm up this bottle.
Shall I
No, let me
warm
just
it?
put it over here, because I want to feed
Where
it.
shall I put it?
No, I'm just going to put it here.
You have to warm it up,
Yeah,
sweetheart?
she's going to boil some water for me.
Okay.
Just boil the water?
I think you need a little bit more water.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Michael.